This week we're going to be speaking about unity. The theme of the week is unity, or what we call in Hebrew hiskachus. Hiskashrus means really to be connected, to be close. We need to talk about the different types of closeness, the different types of love that exist, the relationships that are based on conditional love, that are based on unconditional love. We need to understand what love is from a Jewish point of view. And we need to know really how love fits into the whole purpose of the creation. How really we were united initially, all of us, all people, Jews, non-Jews alike, and how really the purpose of creation is leading towards a reunification of everybody and all of the creation, animals, birds, fish, rocks even, everything to become reunited again, and most importantly, reunited with the Creator. So let's start from the idea of the different types of love that exist. We all know that there's motherly love, fatherly love, brotherly love. There's the love that exists between friends. There's a very special type of love that exists between people that are married. That's a completely different kind of love. What is the difference between giving, being kind, and really loving somebody? Well, if you're really giving to somebody, you can give to a person, but usually that has to do with conditions, right? Sometimes we give, but we expect to get back in return, right? That's unconditional. That's a conditional type of love. It's almost like a political type of love. And really there's nothing wrong with it because it's meant to move us towards the unconditional type of love, which is really the more important one. So, conditional love is like, okay, I'll lend you my lawnmower. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, if I lend you my lawnmower, when I come to ask you for a rake, you're going to lend me your rake, your garden rake. That's conditional love. Right? It's not enough. It's a lower form of love. What's unconditional love? Unconditional love would be the love that a person has for another person without having any reason for that love at all. It means I love you not because you're beautiful to look at or how smart you are. I don't love you. I like the fact that you have a good sense of humor. I appreciate the fact that you're intelligent and you're helpful. But these really aren't the main reasons why I love you. The main reasons that I love you have nothing to do with any of your achievements or anything that you do for me. The main reason that I love you is because I just love you. The main reason I love you is because you just exist. Because I feel like I'm a part of you and you're a part of me. Because I know that our neshamas are joined together, and all of our neshamas were joined together in the first man, in Adam HaRishon. Right? We were all a part of each other and a part of him. He was really a composite of not only all of the souls, but all of creation. Everything existed in that one man, initially. And that's what we're going to go back to in the end of days. That's what Mashiach is going to unify all of us, Jews, non-Jews. We're going to see how Gerim, how converts play a very special role in being able to unify Jews and non-Jews. The converts are actually the link, right, between Jews and non-Jews, because the converts, their souls existed. They were there at Mount Sinai. Their souls were there at the giving of the Torah. And we know that the Torah was given in 70 languages. So we see that from back then even, the intention was that we should all be connected, that we should all be unified. Okay. So we have this capacity to love each other. All souls really do love each other. Right? All souls love each other. So we don't have to learn to love each other. What do we have to do? We have to take away the obstacles that are preventing the love that we have from each other from being revealed and expressed. That's what we need to work on. Taking away the barriers to the love that's already there. Okay. We need to do that because love really is the antidote for all of the difficulties and problems that we're facing today in this exile. All of the interpersonal difficulties, all of the psychological and emotional difficulties that I deal with in my work with people, anxiety, depression, OCD, problems with attention, problems with memory, problems with motivation, all of these things can be healed with the power of love. We need to release the love, we need techniques and methods of being able to access and release the love that we all have within us, and to be able to then center with other people and be able to focus and to give it. The people in our lives, especially that we have close relationships with, we have significant relationships with, we have to be able to tune in to those people. First, you got to tune into yourself, and then you can tune into them. But once you have that ability to center in yourself and then to open to them, you can feel their heart. You know, King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, said that just like water reflects a face, so does a heart feel what another heart feels. If I feel something for you, if I'm aware of what I really feel for you in my heart, you're going to feel it. Even if I'm not so articulate, even if I can't find all the right words to express my love to you, if I feel my love to you, if I feel it in my heart, your heart will feel it. We work in our webinar, in our Amuna coaching, to really open our hearts, to be able to feel what's in our hearts, to empty our hearts, to let Hashem come into our hearts, to let Hashem's love come into our hearts. So people that are working in the webinar, people that are practicing this at home, well, they have a bit of a head start on most people. You can catch up and join the webinar anytime you wish. I'll tell you how later. But the point here is to be able to feel what's going on in your heart for another person, and to be able to tune in to what another person's heart is feeling, and to feel that love that that other person has towards you. Okay, it might be affection, it might be love, whatever it is. You need to be able to appreciate it, have gratitude for it, and to be able to receive all of the good feelings and love that people who love you are feeling towards you. You need to be able to appreciate it. It's a decision to let it in or not, right? Most of us can go back. It's another exercise that we do, is that we go back and we remember all of the nurturing and all of the protective people that we had in our lives earlier in life, growing up. And we go back and we visualize the nurturing, protective figures of our lives. We hear their voices. We remember how they looked at us or how they held our hand. And we activate all of the senses to make it stronger, right? And to build it up so that we can once again feel all of the positive love and experiences that we had growing up. We do that for a number of reasons. One, because that love was meant to be with you forever. So even if it's coming from a person who's deceased, it's very important to be able to recognize it, to recall it, and to relive it and use it again. And we also know that it's important because this is love that Hashem gave you. And He put that love into your life through those people. And he gave that to you, not for you to forget about it, but for you to be able to continue to use it and integrate it into your current day life. Remember those grandmothers and those uncles and aunts and parents and other siblings and favorite teachers and favorite mentors and just sometimes strangers that just sort of popped into your life who just were very special people for maybe even for a very short period of time, but had a real impact on you. And a coach, a Girl Scout counselor, or somebody who really meant something to you and who is stored in your unconscious mind. And we can access that and we can use it. You can use it to feel good about yourself. So love binds us. The purpose of all love and all of these different types of loving relationships that I'm mentioning to you is to ultimately be able to feel the Creator's love and to feel love towards the Creator. We have something else that we have in common, and that is that we stood, at least the Jewish people, stood at Mount Sinai together, right? And as I said before, the Gerim, the converts, they stood with us at Mount Sinai. We have that bond. But also, as I said before, the converts were there because ultimately God's will is that they should link the Jewish people to all people, to all people. And that's what we're shooting for, is world peace, universal peace amongst all people. That the creation is not going to be fulfilled just with what we call Ahavas Yisrael, which is love, Jews that having love for each other. That's not going to be enough. We're going to have to go beyond that. Another way that we can feel love for each other is to look for the good in other people, to look for the good in each other. When I see bad in people, then I can't love them. When I see good in people, then I can love the good in you because it reminds me of the good in me. Now, why is it that I have to first learn to love myself unconditionally before I can love you unconditionally? Well, because it's easier. Most of us have an easier time to love ourselves for no reason. You love yourself because you exist, right? You care about yourself. You're looking out for yourself. Well, you're always considering your own needs. You must, to some extent, consider your own needs in order to survive. You worry about yourself, right? You want to make sure everything's going to be good. You're going to have enough of what you need, and so on and so forth. Well, that's practicing being able to really love yourself unconditionally and to understand that that's essential. Then you can love other people unconditionally as well. You can start not only worrying about yourself, but you can also start worrying about other people. Let's say you have a kid in the house and he's acting in a chutzpahdik way, right? He's acting in a rebellious way, a prideful way, as teenagers sometimes do. And he's testing your ability to love him. God's giving you a test of emunah. Maybe it's right before you're making a wedding. Maybe it's before a big Jewish holiday, and you got a million things to do. And this kid, he's not lifting a finger to help you. All he's doing is criticizing you or asking you for favors, and you're in no mood to do any favors for this child. Right? It's a test. God puts you together with a boy like this, who may be very different from you, puts him in the same family with you. What are you going to... And basically you have to love him. Well, how do you? The first thing you can do is you can realize that even though it's a difficult child, maybe your most difficult child, that the reason he's there is because God put him there. And God put him there for your best interest. And since you know there must be something good about it, you think, okay, let me consider this from a different perspective. Instead of running into anger or letting my intellect get the best of me and start making all kinds of negative judgments about this child and thinking about how ungrateful he is and how I have to now yell at him and make a mensch out of him or punish him, you stop. You think, okay, where is Hashem? You realize, oh, Hashem is right here. Hashem's right here with me. Okay. What is Hashem going to say would be a good perspective to have on the situation that's going to help me to grow in Emunah, going to help me grow closer to Hashem? So you get the thought back from Hashem that this boy is going to help you grow in Emunah. It might be something as simple as that. He's going to help you grow in Emunah. He's going to help you grow in patience. He's going to help you to understand that God is running the world, that you're not running the world. That even though you would like him to pick up his, after himself, you'd like him to do the dishes, Hashem, for some reason, is stopping him, not allowing him to do the dishes. Could be that this kid really wants to do the dishes. And he doesn't really enjoy the role that God is putting him in by making him unable to do the dishes for whatever reason. God has all kinds of ways of stopping people, right? So here, I've given you about half a dozen possibilities, different perspectives that you could use to view a situation with your Emunah lens, rather than with your own non-Emunah way of looking at the situation. So, let's say you have a stepchild, a stepdaughter, and you don't really care for this girl very much. You're in your second marriage, and you really value your marriage, but your spouse has a daughter or a son, and you just really don't connect with that child, with that young person. So what are you going to do? Right? What you do is you stop, and before you start having bad thoughts about that person, you ask yourself, you ask, I Mekayim Kavodah, where are you, Hashem? Right away you get back the answer, Kol ha'aretz kavodah. He's everywhere. Maloi kol ha'aretz kavodah. He fills everywhere, so that means he's right here. And then you say, okay, Hashem, I need a different perspective. Help me to access the Emunah in myself so that I can see this in a better light. Then you get thoughts. And since you know that everything is coming from Hashem, you know these thoughts are coming from Hashem too. And the thoughts come to you like this. Well, you love your spouse, don't you? Yes. That's for sure. I love my spouse. Okay, and this child, this young person, this person is part of your spouse. This person is part of the package that comes with the spouse that you love. And if you don't find a way of being able to connect with this young person, this stepchild, how is your spouse going to feel? How's she going to feel? How's he going to feel? Then you get back the answer. No, my spouse isn't going to feel very good about this at all. Is it going to be in some way an interference between the love relationship I have with my spouse? Yes, it's going to be. Because if my spouse feels that I'm not at least working, trying to see the good in his or her children, the spouse is going to feel like it's a diminution of the amount of love that I have towards him, towards her. And that we don't want. So that gives you more motivation. You're using your relationship with your spouse as a motivator to improve the relationship you have with your spouse's children. It's as simple as that. You start to see that there's a connection between the spouse and the children, and you and the spouse, and therefore you and the children. And you think about it in different perspectives. You realize that these different perspectives are coming from your Creator, and you feel grateful instantly to the Creator for giving them to you. And then you do the third, then you go into prayer. You go into P, which is prayer. Thank you, Hashem, for these perspectives that I wasn't able to get to on my own before I did the swap. Stop. W, wonder, which is where are you, Hashem? A, which is an alternative perspective. And P, which is praying, thanking you, Hashem, for putting this in a whole different light, lessening my load, taking away my stress. You know, I have people now that are, every day that are thanking me for the swap technique. Telling me, some people are telling me they're using it dozens of times every day to be able to break through stress, reduce anxiety, tension, maintain a happy perspective on life. You're swapping an Amuna way of looking at things with a non-Amuna way of looking at things. And it makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay. Today we're talking about unity. Unity is about love. Unconditional love, real love, the ultimate in love, which is the Torah's definition of love, is more than just giving. The Torah's definition of love is oneness. What is oneness? Oneness is where I feel and worry about you as much as I think and worry about me. I'm as concerned with your needs as I am concerned with my own needs. The gematria, the numerical value for one, which is echad, equals 13. And the numerical value for love, ahava, is also 13. So love equals oneness. Okay? So if I do a kind act, if I see your kid needs to cross the street, and I decide, okay, I'm going to help that kid out. I'm going to walk that kid across the street so they get to the other side safely. That's an act of kindness, right? I can do it out of an act of love, or I can do it out of an act of kindness. If I'm just doing it out of an act of kindness, my thoughts might be something like this. Oh, there's David's little girl. Yeah, David's my neighbor. I should be a good neighbor and I should help him out. So I'm going to take his kid and walk her across the street, because that's the right thing to do. That's the neighborly thing to do. That's chesed. It's not yet love. It's not yet love. I'm doing it to be a good neighbor because I really want him to be a good neighbor to me someday. Maybe I'm going to need a favor. Maybe my child's going to need a favor. But when you do something for somebody that you love, unconditionally, you don't care what you're going to get back from that person. You're not thinking about whether you're going to get back respect from that child or disrespect from that child. You're not thinking about whether that child is going to give you nachas and make you a proud parent or not. It doesn't matter to you if that person is going to become a Talmid Chacham, a Torah scholar, or he's going to drive a truck. You just love him. And you're willing to go as far as you have to go for that person. You're willing to do everything within your power to bring light and happiness into that person's life. I asked somebody this week, somebody who has a goal of making a lot of money, and he wants to be very successful, and he feels that you need to have a lot of money in order, and, he wants to be happy, but he feels that, money is also very important, and he wants to not only be happy, but he wants to be happy and have a lot of money also. So I asked this young person, I said, if you had to make a choice between having love in your life or having money in your life, which would you pick? He didn't quite understand the question. I think he did, but he acted like he didn't. So I said to him, listen, let's make it very simple. This Hanukkah, right? Let's say you can either have a Hanukkah where there's love in your house, there's love between everyone in the family, unconditional, everybody getting along, everybody helping each other, everybody making each other feel good, everybody trying to make each other feel happy, giving compliments openly, sharing, giving whatever you can give. But there's nothing in the way of real materialism in the house. And let's say there's very little furniture in the house. There's just a minimum amount of food in the house. Enough to eat, enough to celebrate Hanukkah, but not very much at all. What would you choose? Oh, that's a hard question. I don't know. Okay. Thank you. Eventually he picked love. He picked happiness. And really, when everybody thinks about it, that's really what they want. Everybody wants it because this is really what makes the world go. This is what the whole creation came from. It came from love. Hashem created the creation with love. He bestowed love and goodness into the creation, into us. He bound us together, so to speak. And the root of all of us, the root of our souls, is love. Since your soul and Emunah are really the same thing, Emunah is your soul. That's what Emunah is. Emunah is your soul. Emunah is the essence of you. The real you is your faith. That's who you are. And your soul is, since your soul is love, right? Then that's what Emunah is also. Emunah is believing that it's right to love people. Even people that you can't be so close to. It doesn't mean that you can be close yet in this generation with everybody. You have to hold back in some cases. And you have to know who now you can really get close to and who you can't. But Emunah means, the main part of Emunah is one of the main parts of Emunah is to know that it's right to trust and believe that you can love everybody, and that you want to pray for the people, you want to pray for the world, and you also want to pray for the people who you know now, but you can't get that close to them now for whatever reason. It just wouldn't be right, wouldn't be good for you. Okay, so that's important, and it's important to also know that even though we're maybe not on the level where we can feel love, that we can at least work on our desire to feel love, to feel more love, and to experience the love that we were given, right? And it's also helpful to spend your time pretending that you have more love, or not more love, but you have more of an ability to share love and express love than you might have. Pretend. Pretending is a very powerful method. It's a very powerful way of being able to bring out things that you don't have yet, and you have it deep inside of you, but you haven't brought it out. So by pretending, you're going to be able to bring it out more. By making believe and pretending, you can access more of what's deep within you, and it's really not pretending. It's really To you it seems like pretending, but it's really practicing what you really already know, can do, but that you don't know you can do. And you can pretend anything. You can pretend to be a more loving person. You can pretend to be a more happy person. You can pretend to be a more confident person. You can pretend anything, you know. You can pretend to be a better parent, to be a better spouse. You can pretend to be a better listener, you know, even if you think you're not. You do have the ability. A person who doesn't believe that he has the ability to learn, he can pretend that he's a better learner than he is. He can pretend that he has more intelligence than he thinks he has. You can pretend almost anything, and you can master it by pretending it. The more you pretend it, you can master it. And then if you start to have that thought, well, this is hypocritical, because I'm just making, this is phony, it's fake. Stop yourself. Stop yourself, because that's a trap. That's a trap. It's a trap from the evil inclination. It's not phony, it's not hypocritical. This is something that our rabbis tell us that we should do. That we should, Rabbi Nachman of Breslev talked about it. There are rabbis, I believe, from Chabad that have spoken about it. You can pretend something, you can pretend, try on new behaviors, try on new ways, experiment. And this is how you internalize and you build yourself and you become all that you can be. I want to give you that phone number now that you can call, and you can still join our Sunday morning Emunah coaching webinar, which is really, it's an Emunah coaching workshop that we do every Sunday morning from 9 in the morning to 11 Eastern Standard Time. We're in our 4th week, but don't let that stop you. We have all the videos from the first 3. We have all the handouts, all the materials. We're giving out tons and tons of techniques and Emunah-based techniques, visual techniques, behavioral techniques, cognitive techniques, NLP techniques, meditation techniques, mindfulness techniques. We load you up with dozens and dozens of techniques. I just told you about one of them today, which is the swap technique. But the number to call to join is 718-577-2975. 718-577-2975. Give us a call now. Speak with Aaron. He's at his desk. Call anytime between 2 and 11 at night, Israel time. Dial 1 for English. Speak with Aaron. He'll sign you up right on the spot. He'll send you the materials. Anybody that you care about, you just tell them about this workshop. It's the only online Emunah-based workshop in the world that has a complete and full haskama of Rabbi Shalom Ar Shlita. So call us at 718-577-2975. Aaron will answer your call right now. And I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. We should all be blessed. We should all build in Emunah. We should all come to unify with each other. And in that merit, see the coming of the Mashiach, the Messiah, the building of the Holy Temple, right down the street, speedily in our days. Amen.